So, folks, welcome to yet another episode from the TGV Global Speaker Series. And our guest for today is Christine Mary. She's an American living in Germany. And TGV is known for covering a lot of bold topics and bold subjects. And today we have come up with a unique topic related to periods. So, Christine Mary, known as the Period Empress, helps individuals achieve pain free, symptom reversing menstrual cycles, including PMDD, PCOS, endometriosis, and fibroids. Her approach focuses on natural healing devoid of medication, supplements, special diets, or exercises. She has been featured in interviews and keynote talks with organizations such as leanin.org, and her work has been sponsored with continued support from thought leaders, particularly Gay Hendricks. Christine Mary also contributes to various magazines and appears on self-help podcasts and leads an online community guiding women towards easier periods and a more fulfilling life. So currently residing on the bridge between Germany and Los Angeles, Christine Mary loves spending time with her family in the mountains, free swimming while practicing yoga. And as we prepare to delve into our conversation on the bold topic at hand, 5 things people who have never had a period need to know. Here is an exciting twist. Let us tickle the brain of our guest first. So, Christine, I'm going to fire the first rapid fire round of random words. I'll mention a few words and I would love to hear the first thing that comes to your mind in response without thinking much. Are you ready for it?
Yes, I'm ready.
All right. I love the spirit. Let's get going. Christine, here is the first word: curiosity.
Curiosity killed the cat.
Invention.
Einstein.
Future.
Futurama.
Book.
Matt Groening, Simpsons creator. Yeah. Book.
Yeah.
Ooh. I don't know why I'm thinking of this. The Bell Jar. Sylvia Plath.
Nice. Movie.
Magnolia. Paul Thomas Anderson.
Food.
Pizza.
And my favorite too. That's one of my guiltiest pleasures which I enjoy. Success.
Power Woman.
Universe.
Marvel Comics.
Leadership.
Obama.
So, Christine, thanks so much for participating in the first rapid fire round so sportively. Really appreciate it. There is one more waiting towards the end of the episode, so stay tuned. And
Okay.
So, folks, welcome to the Guiding Voice podcast series where we embark on transformative conversations for a better future. I'm your host, Naveen Samala, dedicated to making the world a better place through valuable discussions that add value not only to your life but also to your career. Thank you so much for tuning in. And Christine, hearty welcome to the Guiding Voice. Super thrilled to host you today and engage in this exciting conversation. So these kind of topics I love talking to because these are not openly discussed and we need to really break that particular jinx and encourage people to talk these topics. And I'm super thrilled to host you today. How are you, Christine?
Thank you. I'm doing well. I'm really excited about today. I'm excited about this interview. Thank you.
Same here, Christine. Let's begin with your success mantra. So please share with us the top 3 things that are attributed to your success so far.
The first, I wish I could say that there's something that I count on all the time, but for today, I would say number 1 is empathy. Empathy. My whole world changed and everything I've created since I was, I don't know, at least 23, 24, has relied solidly on empathy. So first thing is empathy. Second thing, the willingness to do something, at least one thing different every day.
Wow.
Third thing, willingness to fail boldly. Fail better, to fail better, to fail better.
I loved it. And the second point that you mentioned, willingness to do different thing, at least one different thing every day. I think this is something which will make you stand unique, stand apart, stand out from the crowd. And it's so intriguing, Christine. So let us talk about your personal journey and what inspired you to develop the Fierce Gentleness program for ending period pain and PMS.
Yeah, not expect to be the person to develop it. I have a history of looking at systems and knowing that it's got to be easy. So anytime somebody says, "Oh, this is so hard," then I will say, "Give me some time with it, and I'll find an easy way." So I have a history with test prep, with looking at how standardized exams work, and I figured out how to beat it and how to deliver perfect scores, regardless of a student's GPA, regardless of what kind of student they are. In fact, my highest scores, the ones who I could reach the most easily, were my C average students. My C average students, so if we use a grading scale, A being the top, D or F being failing, my C students would run, they would thrive, they would get perfect scores on these major exams because of the way that I saw this exam. And the biggest thing was to accept that it's not supposed to be hard. Nothing we do in life is supposed to be difficult. Effective, yes. Helpful, yes, but never difficult. And so what happened with the Fierce Gentleness system is that I'm sitting with a test prep student. We're working on SAT. She's 16. She's sitting there and I'm looking at her face and I see the pain on her face. And I say, you're having cramps. And she goes, yes, but I'm going on birth control and I'm not going to have cramps anymore. And as soon as I heard her say that, in front of me flashed my history.
Yeah.
2 decades of pain, of vomiting, of PMS, of endometriosis, of an ovarian cyst that had to be removed, of screaming at my parents, I'm in so much pain, help me. And they were powerless. And going to the OBGYN and they say, oh, we'll take care of it. Here's birth control. Oh, here's another kind. Oh, here's another kind. And you just, eventually what they tell you is, I'm sorry, some people just have bad wombs. There's nothing we can do about it. And I knew what was in store for her. And in that moment, I said, I wish, and realized that for those 2 decades of having my period, having an awful period every month, I would research, has someone found a way to stop this? I would read all the books. I would read the woo-woo stuff about periods and the dark work and the shadow archetypal work. I would read the biological stuff about the hormones and about feeding the hormones and using supplements and diet and exercise and when to do what. And in that moment when I said, I wish there was an easier way, there's got to be a better way. I'm so sorry that you have to go through this because there's no way around this. In that moment, this knowledge, it's as if there was a researcher working in the back of my brain that had been pulling it all together. Boom, it all landed right in front of me. And I was like, this session with this student, I said, I have an idea. I want to try it. Do you want to try it? Will you please not go on birth control until we try this? And she was like, sure, I don't care. I haven't started yet. If you think you can get rid of my cramps, then sure. And we did it and we tested it and it worked. And then I did it again and I tested with another student. And then I was number 3 because I was like so certain that nothing ever works for me. Like anything I've created for other people, a system I've hacked, whatever, everybody else, it's always for them. I feel like I made this contract that I'm not allowed to heal. I'm not allowed to not be in pain every month. And it worked. And the system itself is that I looked at the womb and I realized, what if it's not broken? What if it is absolutely perfect? And what if this is a user fail? Just like all of these exams. These exams, you can do really well on them if you see every question as perfect and the test is trying to help you, not to hurt you. This is not a test of ability and intelligence. It is a test of your ability to follow directions as it is laid out. And the test cannot be more obvious. The womb cannot be more obvious. The womb is giving itself away. It's telling you what to do. And just like a GPS, when you turn left, when it says right, it's going to scream, turn left, turn left, turn left, turn left, until you follow its direction. If you don't, it's not going to stop screaming that you're going the wrong way for where you want to get. And the womb is doing the same thing. It's screaming, and sometimes it has you screaming. And then if you don't hear it, then it's going to start sending out satellite screams to different organs in the body and different sicknesses. And that's how you get these debilitating diseases. And so it's called fierce gentleness, and it's a system because the womb is simple and complicated at the same time. You have to know how to listen. And until you can listen to yourself, I give you little tiny baby directions for each day, just a little nudge.
Yeah.
And it's called fierce gentleness because we are groomed as people born with a uterus not to be gentle with ourselves. Everybody else, take all of me, but me take care of myself. And so that's why I call it that. And that's the whole story. I'm sorry. I hope that wasn't too long.
No, I think it was very clear. I got a background of it, and I need to appreciate you because you've not only come out of your own pain, but you started helping millions of girls out there, and which is a great thing, right? Not everybody thinks in that perspective of providing a solution. Rather, people worry about why it is happening just to me. Why am I born as a girl? Why am I born as a woman? Right? Those are the kind of things that go into people's minds. But I think you have taken a brave step and started educating, which is really great. And Christine, your program focuses on changing how you be rather than relying on the conventional solutions like pills or special diets. So how did you come to this unique approach, and what results have you witnessed?
Well, it was easy to come to this approach because I saw what the flaw was in the medical approach. So a medical cure or intervention is one that is created by a person, a doctor, and that is proven to work. And when you look up a medical cure for period pain and period problems and all the menstrual imbalances, the standard line is there is no cure. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result.
Yeah.
So if we just say, hey, medicine doesn't have an answer, door closed, go another way. Okay, so that was the first part was really easy. And then the second part was looking at the physical. So our doctors, our OBGYNs, they are not trying to hurt us. They are devoting their lives to trying to help us. But they keep doing the definition of insanity and saying, let's try this birth control. Let's try this supplement. Let's try this hormone therapy. Let's try these diets and these exercises. Blah, blah, blah. And they'll always get results, but the results will not sustain. So you start to go, okay, dealing with the physical and it's not working. So I have to go another way because the womb is perfect and I'm just looking at it wrong. And then you see another flaw in the medical approach. Their standard for a human body, and they're speaking generally for medicine, they're speaking for an entire population. They have a huge responsibility. Our doctors, their standard is a person born with a uterus. I mean, without a uterus. Hello, that's a big problem for period health because we run through a different series of physiological processes. Biologically, we run on a different schedule. People born without a uterus run on a 24-hour rhythm, and we run on a 28 rhythm. And so then you start to realize you'll even hear at fertility centers or at centers that are dedicated to researching menstrual health. I even have it in one of my articles where a doctor writes, women are at an unfair disadvantage because they have all these fluctuations in their hormones and they can't be consistent. That's just it's such an unfair thing. So we try to fix the game for them and make it fair by feeding them the hormones to keep them productive. But if we accept that our body is perfect, we're not supposed to be that way every day. This rise and fall, this dramatic rise and fall is the same as winter and fall, winter and summer. We reside in a way of being for a period of time, and that way of being is different every 5 to 7 to 11 days. And when we accept that, accept that, oh my gosh, in this phase, I am thoughtful, I am highly productive, I'm a bit dogmatic, I'm a bit aggressive, I shouldn't be around people. Oh, and instead of looking at that as there's something wrong with me, why am I so short with people? Why am I so impatient a few days after I have my period? Why can't I, or when we have our period, why don't I have more energy? Oh, I'm messing up. I got to go do cardio because I've got cramps. All of this stuff of trying to be what we think we're supposed to be, which is an impossibility. Why don't we accept what's happening? And when we see that who we're being in the moment is absolutely perfect, then we stop condemning ourselves. We stop feeding our body distress. And who we be, if you look at the holistic being, and so many different institutions consider the whole being having 4 parts: the intuitive, the physical, the emotional, and the mental. When you consider the fact that 3 of the bodies are intangible, but that we actually feed information that our brain receives through this axis, this relay in our brain that connects right to our sex organs. So distress, we clock it and then we go, wait, I don't have time to deal with that. I'm going to deal with it later. It shoots down this axis called the HPA axis and it deposits in our sex organs. Men and women. This is not a discriminating that it's what we're feeding through this part. Intuitive, mental, do with how we're being. They don't have to do with what we're doing, what we're taking. We see it all the time. We see it when people say to food, muffin, I love you. You're going to nourish me. You're going to come in my body. And then you're going to go out and, we're going to have a great time. Thank you so much. I love you. Goodbye. When people do that, they talk to their food, they lose weight.
Yeah.
Decide when you tell your body, I'm going to sleep 8 hours tonight. I have a strong relationship with you. Can I trust you to do that for me? We're not talking to it through the physical. We're not throwing our body to the ground and waiting. Programming. And that is the being part. Because when we acknowledge that our body is actually the slowest to react of all the ways that we can intervene with ourselves, it is a 3D printer. It is receiving programming. So we can either look at the printout and notice the typo and then take a blade, an X-Acto blade, and slice out the letter and then take tweezers and put the right letter and glue it and try to give you the document. Or we can go to the computer, fix the typo, and then program that, send that file correct to the printer, and then it prints out because the body's printing. The body is not, it's not programming the printer. The printer is receiving the data from the printer's not programming the computer. The computer is programming the printer. And that is the answer. And I am going so long today. I am so sorry.
No,
I just
no
get
problem
so
at all.
excited about this stuff.
Yeah, I think your passion is something really visible, and I think this kind of things are going to help audience also learn some things and especially understand the rationale behind why you have come up with that, and especially get themselves immersed into the topic. And yeah, that's okay. Like, try to be crisp on the next ones, but so far I didn't feel like it is boring at all. And now let's move forward, Christine. So could you share some of the key findings and insights from your experience working with your clients or students, if you may call it, who have had various menstrual disorders, and how did they respond to your program? What kind of transformations did they undergo? Share 1 or 2 examples.
Sure. One example I'll give is a woman who came to me during perimenopause. So that means that her period is sporadic, it's inconsistent, and she's feeling the symptoms of menstrual disorder more than ever before. She also had fibromyalgia, and she also was dealing with insomnia. So she had a lot going on, and she started our work, and within 2 weeks, and I told her, give yourself 60 to 90 days to start to see a shift. Because that's what my data had showed was what happened, was the time frame it needed. And I thought, well, she's got so much going on. who knows what's going to happen? This is going to be interesting. In 2 weeks, she came back and said, I don't have insomnia anymore. My fibromyalgia is literally diminishing by the day. I used to have my period every 2 weeks. I was waiting for it to come. It's not coming. I don't know what's going on, but something is changing. My life is changing. And now she is one of, like, when we have the funding, I actually want to hire her to work for me because her story is so powerful. And she's now she does work from her heart, and she wants to work for me. I want her to work for me. And it's brilliant. So she's one example. And then another example would be a mother. She came to me, she had not had her period in over 2 years.
Oh my God.
And she had worked with medical doctors, she was like me. She worked with medical doctors, with healers, with, all spectrums of help, because she just wanted her period back. And I sat with her. We had a 30-minute, we coached for 30 minutes, which I rarely coach. We coached for 30 minutes. We brought in her husband. We brought him in on the whole process. And I gave her directions, which were mostly just rest. But I have a course dedicated to how to find rest in your life, because a lot of us are living in a hyper burnout. We don't even know how to assert ourselves to ask for rest, let alone to actually accept rest, and then to let ourselves rest past our threshold, which it's dangerously low. Anyways, I told her 6 weeks, you'll have your period back. She got it in 4. And she was like, oh my gosh, 30 minutes and doing it. And it's not doing what I say. It's just being present to the information and letting it work its way through your system. And so those are 2 examples.
Fabulous. And I think this is going to work for sure. And I've come across many women who undergo this kind of problems. I think I strongly recommend women to reach out to Christine and understand her process, her framework, this gentle fierceness. I'm going to publish Christine's coordinates, and I think it is worthy trying this for sure, because there are no side effects, and there's no medication, but rather something which is purely natural, right? So I strongly recommend this program.
Yeah, no risk.
Yeah.
No risk. I mean, I was a walking experiment for 15 years.
Yeah.
And that's what my clients come with. They come with this baggage of, it's a phenomenon called learned helplessness. Marty Seligman created it at UPenn. Yeah. Learned helplessness, well, him and a fellow professor. Learned helplessness is this idea that you're taught there's nothing you can do. Give up. There's nothing you can do but suffer in comfort. And so even when a solution avails itself, you can't, because you have learned helplessness. That is one of the most dangerous things about the work that I do. That's the danger, is that I will threaten someone's identity as a sufferer, and they have to stand and go, is it more important to me to be in my suffering and be right? Because medicine says there's nothing you can do. Or am I willing to do something different and with no risk, which is something a medical doctor cannot offer.
Amazing. Yeah. Amazing, Christine. I think you're doing some amazing job there. And you are on an awareness mission to share the message that there is a sustainable way to have easy periods. So can you elaborate on how menstrual health is interconnected with various aspects of our lives, like relationships, work productivity, and also overall well-being? Only one thing what I am aware of is hormonal changes which are going to disrupt the mood, which I experience with my wife. So that's why this question is personally to my benefit and also to the benefit for the benefit of all the audience.
Absolutely. So first thing is look at the location. Remember, everything that's difficult is actually quite obvious and easy. Occam's razor. Whatever the simplest solution is usually the best solution. It's in the middle of the body. It's there to be focused on. It's there to take center. It's there to direct you. With a compass, we wouldn't put the compass on our backpack. We hold it out front as we're being guided. Yeah. That's our womb. When we respect it, then we're already winning. That's the first thing. And then the second thing is that we have 4 menstrual phases. We have 4 distinct ways of being. We have 4 experts on our lives that are coming in that want us to stay on mission with why we came to this planet. When we go off mission, it's going to scream. The GPS is going to start screaming, turn left, turn left, turn left, turn left, because they want you back on mission. When you're off, when you're not in alignment with yourself, that is an easy way to know that you in trouble. Get back in alignment. It's scarier than you think, but once you're in alignment, you can do more, you have more time, you make more impact, and it's all a lot easier. And so knowing what's happening in each phase allows you to figure out what tasks you should do at work, allows you to say, I deserve to show up at my best, in my best for this task. So, friend, you want to have a meeting about employee performance. You want me to give feedback and evaluations. We're going to save that for what I like to call the peacemaker phase. It's when you switch from follicular to ovulatory to luteal. It's this one phase. It's so gorgeous. We're going to save it for that phase because that's when I can be most clear with you. That's when I have the most empathy before I start getting passionate. And so you choose and you get strategic. And people born with a uterus, strategy is one of our superpowers. We can see the long game and execute in the short at the same time. It's not multitasking. It's just a different way of seeing things if we'll allow ourselves. And so that's how it integrates, is how we eat, what we crave, listening to what we crave instead of saying it's Tuesday, I want tacos. No, it's Tuesday and I'm in my menstrual phase. I will have a clear broth because I actually don't need food. I am like a bear. I'm hibernating. I need rest because my body is shutting down from the outside so it can do all of its interior work and reset itself for the next 28 days. I'm not going to force myself to have tacos because it's Tuesday. You see, so it affects every facet of our lives. How we relate, how we date. The sex in menstrual phase, off the chains, freaking amazing. And it's because we're in this massively intuitive place. So we can actually hear, we're with our partners in a way that we can't be in any of the other phases. And so you see, there are being and things to do that are the best for each phase. And all of that's being directed from our womb. And so what I do is I show you how to listen, because I only give you the framework. After you get the blueprint, you go wild with it, because now you've also, by the time I'm done with you, you're also willing not to second guess yourself. And it's that lack of second guessing yourself and just going for it that makes you powerful and that makes you unstoppable. You can't even compete with a woman who is in alignment with her womb.
So, Christine, you proposed this topic. Okay, we are in this together, like 5 things people who have never had a period need to know. It sounds so fascinating. In fact, it grabbed my attention the moment you responded to my email. So, can you give us a sneak peek into the key takeaways from this topic, highlighting the complementary nature of different physiological bodies?
Yes. The first thing is that I would say one of the biggest takeaways is that we ourselves to respect how we are when we are. We don't shame ourselves. We don't say, I wish, and apologize for who we are. We just be. And our partner aids us, not by saying, oh, you're in menstrual phase, you're shedding your uteral lining, and I know this because I'm a woke man. No, you just show up and say, what do you need, hun? Do you want more alone time? Because I know what phase you're in. You don't make a thing out of it. It's not a performance. You know, I see all of these things where the husband is coming and they're waiting on to show like, oh, I'm in this. I get it. And I appreciate that. I appreciate it. But it's a performance. And actually, what we need the most is to be alone in a lot of times. And then there are other times when we need, but that's us knowing ourselves. Trust us to know ourselves and take the responsibility off of ourselves. We as women have to take the responsibility off of ourselves to over-explain to educate, to apologize for trying to just be where we are. And so one of the best things a partner can do, a father, a brother, a sibling, I said brother, a father, a loved one can do is to say, what do you need? If the answer is nothing, accept it. Don't expect us to educate you and to do all of this stuff, because actually this is a normal part of life. Being 4 people in a month is totally normal. What phase are you in right now? Okay, that's the one where I'm going to be quiet. My boyfriend asks me that like once. He goes, "Ooh, you just switched. You just switched to queen. I love it. The snark is out." I'm like, "Yeah." And that's it. As far as the conversation goes, he doesn't try. Like, I want to take the responsibility off of us as educators, off of you guys as students, because you need to be in your world, do your thing, and we'll do ours. Leave us to do that. Trust us. So I guess like that's the biggest one. Let's trust ourselves to know ourselves best instead of spending time educating all the time. Not a great answer, but that's what came up.
Christine, you also recommend that the audience or the listeners bring their partner, parent, and or child to this experience. So can you explain why it is crucial for both men and women to have a deeper understanding of the physiological strengths of each other and how it can positively impact their lives?
Yes. Thank you for asking that. It goes very closely with what I said in the last one, which is that when, I just was reading this. I was reading this just a few days ago. I just read that book, Zero Limits, by Vitale, Dr. Joe Vitale, and this Hawaiian doctor. And one of the things the Hawaiian doctor says is, in life, we all have an instrument to play. It is not helpful for you to pick up someone else's instrument. And knowing each other's physiological differences is like a trombonist picking up a clarinet instrument. Like, you know you so well, stick with your instrument. And as people born with a uterus, we live in a society that rewards the innate givens of people born with a uterus, because you guys were out of the cave before us. We've only been out for like 200 years, and our species as Homo sapiens sapiens has been existing for 90,000 years. Okay, so we're out of the cave, and we're trying. I'm a violinist, and I'm trying to use my skills to play piano. That maladaptation makes this wide place of shame, because I just can't get it. I just can't get the piano because I'm supposed to be playing violin. And so when we know our givens, we can cheer each other on. The pianist can say, "You can't play my instrument because I'm playing it, but man, can you jam on that violin? That's incredible. When we play this piece, you shine. When we play this piece, I shine." Or we can play these pieces that are just for violin and piano, and we can be a duet, and it's so beautiful. But the key is that we play our own instruments. And so when we come together as a family and we hear that we have distinct instruments and there is not one right way to be, and that each phase lets us show up as 4 different people, our mothers feel empowered to stand their ground and say, hey kids, I cannot be who I am for you and who I really love being in 2 of my phases. I can't be that for all 4. And then our daughters say, they see their mother model that behavior. And I have one of the best stories like this, where one of my clients, her daughter was like, "Mommy," her mother said, "Hey, I'm in menstrual phase now. I'm going into the temple." She goes into a separate part of the house, and it's just her time alone. And she says, "I'm going into the temple." And her daughter goes, "Oh, Mommy, I can't wait till I get my period. We can go into the temple together. It's going to be so much fun. I can't wait to get my period." And the mother said, "Oh, honey, I love you so much. And I can't wait till you get yours, because it is such a beautiful experience, such a sacred time when we get our period each month." And the daughter said, "But you may not want to go to my temple. You will very much probably want to go to your temple, because it is a time of aloneness and it feels really beautiful alone. But we'll see." But can you imagine all of the micro messages that are being sent in an exchange like that, compared to, there's this writer who was a Holocaust survivor, who was a world-renowned therapist later on, and I think she's like 96 or 97 now, and she was a Hungarian Jew, and when she got her period, her mother smacked her across the face. And I've seen several stories in different cultures where that is a tradition. When you get your period, you get smacked across the face, or you're sent into the bathroom to figure out how to use tampons and pads, because that is such a disgusting thing. You see how that little moment between that mother and daughter is going to change the rest of her trajectory and how she relates to this thing that is innate to us as people born with a uterus. Yeah, so that's why I want the family there. I want the little boy to go, oh my gosh, you're so lucky you get to go into the temple, you know, and I'm not going to the temple, but I'm going to make my own temple time. I'm going to have a temple too. I'm going to have alone time. I'm going to realize that it's okay when there are times when I don't want to interact with everybody. That's kind of cool, you know, and it just solves so many problems, because all we're doing is coming home to ourselves. And when we can be in integrity with ourselves, there's a lot less conflict in every part of our lives. And that's why everybody's invited to learn about this.
So nice. I think it is very clear, and thank you so much for explaining so beautifully. And Christine, this has been fabulous conversation, and it's time for us to add some spice, some more excitement. So if you're ready to dive into a set of second rapid fire round with a set of intriguing questions, let's get started. Okay. So if you could have one gigantic billboard anywhere with anything on it, what would it say?
I see a visual of a picture of a waterfall and a picture of an earth. Girl power.
Yeah.
Those are our power elements. And like, it's not that cool, but that's what I saw.
No, I could imagine that. So, what is the most adventurous thing you have ever done or would you like to do?
It's skydiving. We're going skydiving soon. And I'm like terrified. I'm so scared.
Yeah, in fact, it's on my wish list too. I hope I'll be able to do it next year, 2024. I'm betting high on it. And Christine, can you describe yourself in just one word?
Fierce.
Fierce. Oh, wow. That's superb. Can you share a memorable, funny, or bizarre travel experience you have ever had?
Yes. What comes to mind? I was flying to Germany on Lufthansa, and they were convinced, and I was flying standby. My auntie is a flight attendant, and so you can fly standby. So I was flying business on Lufthansa, and the flight attendants kept walking by me, and they would like smile and keep walking, and they'd walk by, and finally one of them comes up to me and she goes, "You're Tiger Woods' sister." And I was like, not. And they were like, "Say that." They would say, "Do you want a little bit of extra? Do you want?" Like, they were very excited, and I was like, you know, I was a little celebrity for a flight. It was very cool.
That's nice. And Christine, if you could have a dinner with any historical figure, who would it be and why?
Oh my gosh. This is going to be such a weird answer, because I just like to do what comes to mind. I would have dinner with one of those like famous. So in the third Revolutionary Republic, I think it was called the third. I don't know. In French history, like Napoleon, and then there was like, it was at the turn of the century, from the end of the 1800s to the early 1900s. Okay, there were these women, and they were called the Grand Dames of the Troisième siècle something or other. But these were women who were like the most excellent prostitutes ever. Like princes would shower them with gold, and they would walk in the Bois de Boulogne, and they would wear these crazy costumes, and like these were all women who had like come from the street and had made themselves these queens who overpowered princesses who were born into it and all of this stuff. And it would be one of those grand dames. I would love to meet one of those women and just like, I mean, I'm so intrigued by them. I read books about them and all of this stuff because it's absolutely intriguing. And they won't even have sex. A lot of times they don't even have sex. Like people would pay money just to watch them change clothes.
Superb. That's a new learning. That's a new learning for me. And this has been great rapid fire. And here comes the last bullet out of this. Christine, if you would like to have one electronic gadget or a fantasy gadget, right, to see or invent yourself, what would it be?
I think it would be something to stop time. I just like to pause and just sit. This is so nice.
Awesome. Great. I think we need to have that pause play button kind of thing, right? Yeah. Especially we can pause it over the weekends. Great rapid fire with a lot of interesting responses. And let's flip back to the mainstream. So how can we as a society work together to embrace these newfound insights and foster a more supportive and harmonious environment for individuals with and without uteruses? So acknowledging their unique physiological strengths and contributing to a healthier and more understanding world for everyone. So what's your take on that? You can share briefly.
I think the biggest thing we could do is stop laughing. I think comedians, especially comedians born with a uterus, use the period as something to laugh about. I think we could stop normalizing the suffering. If you can't beat them, join them. I get that, but you can beat them now. And so we stop making something like endometriosis a casual topic, as in like, yeah, I have it, but so do 10% of the entire population. That is a dangerous, terrifying thing to have. We should give these disorders the respect that they deserve by stopping allowing them to happen instead of just saying, well, we don't understand it anyway. We do. We have a way now. Like, let's just accept that and do the way. There is a way. Yeah.
Superb. I am with you, and I second that. I think you have brought in an important point over here. And guys, we should not be stopping. We should not be laughing at it, and we should not normalize this suffering, right? So I think that's a great message. And Christine, how is your experience being hosted on the Guiding Voice platform?
Oh my gosh, this was a lot of fun. This was fun because your questions, like the random words that you throw out, even at the beginning, it lets me see, like just throwing them out and letting my brain just do the free association. It actually answered questions for me about it. There were things that made my brain think in a different way. And I love that. So I think it's a really thoughtful format. It's informative, it's entertaining, and it allows freedom, creativity within your niche.
Yeah.
I think it's a lovely format, and I've really enjoyed this interview. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for the feedback, and I really appreciate all the amazing insights. And this is one of the finest conversations I've ever had on my platform, and covering the bold topic. And really appreciate you joining me and sharing your insights with our community. And look forward to hosting you again in future. And have a wonderful time, Christine.
Thank you.
So it was a pleasure hosting Christine Mary. And friends, that was our episode with Christine. And before we jump into the fun trivia section, we have a quick request. If you haven't already subscribed to The Guiding Voice, please subscribe from wherever you have tuned in, because subscribing keeps you updated on new episodes. And also, if you have enjoyed the conversation and found it useful, please share with at least 3 of your friends or colleagues who would also like The Guiding Voice. So spread the knowledge and help others grow just like you. And all right, now it brings us to the trivia segment. And today's trivia is about PMS, which is premenstrual dysphoric disorder. While PMS is common, some women experience a more severe form known as PMDD, which can lead to debilitating symptoms, including extreme mood swings, severe depression, and irritability. It's important to recognize and seek medical help for this condition, or you may approach coaches like Christine Mary so that you can get it treated without any medication as well and without any side effects as well. But this can significantly affect a person's quality of life. And second one is about menstrual migraines. For some women, PMS can trigger menstrual migraines, which are intense headaches that occur before or during menstruation. And these migraines are often more severe and challenging to treat than the regular headaches. Understanding the link between hormones and migraines is crucial for effective management. And third one is about evolutionary perspective. Some researchers propose that PMS may have an evolutionary basis, and they suggest that PMS symptoms like increased irritability and sensitivity to odors might have served as adaptive mechanisms to protect early humans from potentially spoiled or contaminated food during their vulnerable menstrual phase. These lesser known facts about PMS shed light on the complexity and wide ranging effects of this condition, emphasizing the importance of understanding and addressing it in a holistic way. So that's all from my side from the trivia perspective. Now I would love to hear from you. What are you doing to deal with these period problems? So do let me know. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can leave a comment there, or if you have found the episode on social media platforms, you can comment there as well. I'm going to review them. That's it for today's episode. Thank you so much for tuning in and also for being part of awesome community. And folks, we would love to hear from you. So do not hesitate to share your ideas, feedback, guest speaker suggestions, or topic recommendations either through our social media channels or email us at theguidingvoiceforyou@gmail.com. Let's create content that resonates with you. I'm your host Naveen Samala, a lifelong learner, and my goal is to have impactful conversations that improve not only your life but also your career. So until next time, take care, stay inspired, and remember, the future holds great things because the best is yet to come. Goodbye for now. See you all in the next episode with another amazing guest. Take care.